So in this video, I want to talk about the importance of mistakes, why they matter to the process of our lives, and the fact that they matter not just for you, but for the people in your lives. So the other day, my daughter came to me. I have a bunch of daughters, and as you can imagine, they all tend to get pretty emotional. Now, we have a brand new little baby at home, and because my daughters came home from school with a little bit of a sniffle, and for me and my wife, we thought, uh-oh, going to school, catching all kinds of germs and bacteria, viruses and whatnot, and then taking it back home when we have this brand new little baby, we're at a heightened sense of caution, right? So unfortunately that night, my daughters, they love cuddling up and hugs and kisses and doing all that before bedtime. But my wife said, hey, this time around, we're not going to do all of that, right? You guys just clean yourselves up and I love y'all, get to bed. Now, my eldest daughter, really, not so much that she's clingy, but she's a sensitive and caring gal. They all are, really, but this particular night in question, she was really bummed out about this new approach. Now, she understood perfectly well, more or less, why my wife took this position, right? But it didn't matter to her in this moment. She was really, really emotional about not being able to kiss or hug her little baby brother. She was really bummed out about not being able to hug and kiss her mother. And doing all of this before bedtime, per the usual routine, really mattered to her. She came to me to talk to me about it right before bedtime. Now, you see me, I'm a very by the book, stick to your routine, let's not play any games, and let's not get into our emotional roller coasters more than we ought to. Let's get ourselves nice, calm, and collected, and let's do it really quick. Now, the truth is, I'm a pretty emotional person myself, but I try very, very much to stay logical and to stay, in a decision-making frame of mind, especially when faced with problems. Now I'm talking to my kid, adult father to kid daughter, while she's dealing with this emotional bubble, and she's getting the typical spiel from me, right? Figure it out. You're going to be fine. Is it the end of the world? Get over yourself. Get over this. Don't think about yourself. The whole spiel. And everything that I was saying, more or less, they were right. They were good. They were true. But I got to thinking afterwards, did I make a mistake? Did I make a mistake not giving my daughter the chance to just dwell on the emotions for a minute? What damage would it have done? What harm could it have caused to just allow her to, dwell and simmer in it a little bit? And then beyond that, what could I potentially have learned from the conversation more than what I already had at that point? Yeah, everything that I was saying to her might have been helpful, or it potentially could be helpful in the future, but did it really matter at that point? And did I just miss the signals to do something, that otherwise I just wouldn't be, it was something to do in that moment, something to catch in that moment, and maybe I missed it. So the plan for me, because I realized, I admitted to myself, I think I made a mistake. And so I wanted to get the chance to express that to my daughter. Not just to simply say, I apologize, but to tell her, I'm reflecting on how I responded to that situation specifically. And I believe that I made a mistake. And I want to tell you why I made a mistake. And the reason why I think that's important and it's inspiring the content of this video is it occurred to me that by being honest about the mistake that I thought I made and sharing it with her one-to-one, she not only would see humility, right? And I was being very honest and genuine about the situation and sharing with her that I really think I could have done that differently. I'm no stranger to my kids being a stickler for discipline. And I'm not sure in that moment, discipline is really what she needed. I'm not sure if discipline was really the most optimal point, right, to really get into. And I wanted to express to her that I thought, in looking back at it that I was more or less insensitive and I could have done better. But the act of sharing that with her and also acknowledging that it was a mistake and that I could have done better is more important than admitting the mistake itself, because it lets her see that her father, who is just another human being, right, who works really hard and wants to set the best examples, that a part of the process in his life is to deal with the mistakes, right? And that itself fulfills my duty and something I take very seriously, which is to be an example for my family, for my children, and for my immediate community around me. And so let's think about it for a second. Are your mistakes only yours in value? And I submit that they're not, because when people see you make mistakes, they also see how you bounce back or not. They see how you grow or not. They see the attitude, right, that you take on the issue with, whether it be a good attitude, one of resilience, one of character and integrity and honesty, or a bunch of the bad stuff, right? Bitterness, anger, jealousy. Our response to the things that we go through matter, not just for us, but there's this rippling effect that it has on those close and, even further out. So I dare say mistakes matter, not just because of the benefit that they pose to us, those making the mistakes and having to live with the consequences of the mistakes, but they serve another purpose in that they help others to see in such a way that they can relate to you. I mean, do you have a hero, right? It could be a mother. It could be someone you've never even met before, someone that's done outstanding and amazing things. And maybe in your mind, especially if this is someone of, particular fame and fortune, you might think of just the perfect details of this person's life. But no one on earth is perfect or has been perfect, in my opinion, except for Jesus Christ himself. And none of us are him, right? And so when we put it all together, we realize, and we should realize, that we must embrace not just the making of mistakes, but the lessons that come from them. The lessons not only for us, but the lessons for those who get to see us and observe us in our daily lives. How we respond to the mistakes, how we acknowledge the mistakes, if we do at all, what we do with ourselves, how we grow. These become the studies. These become the examples. These become the pots of gold from which other people can look into and grab value to make themselves better. So mistakes are incredibly valuable, and they're a necessity in life by virtue of the fact that we are imperfect. And I believe that we are on a road to perfection, right? Some people say perfection is not achievable. It's unattainable. I disagree. I believe that we should pursue perfection, but we must pursue perfection knowing that we ourselves are imperfect. That's why there's an innate requirement that we do not ever give up, because we seek after perfection being imperfect ourselves. And we cannot do it without looking at our mistakes, acknowledging them, and choosing to grow from them, and considering beyond that the power of our examples in dealing with our mistakes and doing whatever we do with them, out of them, from them, and such. If you like anything that we talk about here on this channel, we want you to like, subscribe, the whole shebang. You know the flow. This isn't new to you. And help us to grow. Give us some feedback, give us tips, whatever the case is, and stay tuned for more insights on all kinds of topics, all leading up to helping you to become a better human, because that's what we want for ourselves as well. You have a blessed day. Peace.